Good morning and welcome to the Essential Space. Excited to have our guest today, Fred Worrell from Essential Industries. How are you, Fred?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's wonderful. So, in talking to customers and in talking to us today, what is your take on what the actual state of Essential is right now?
Sure. Well, we're coming off a period of some pretty significant growth the last couple of years because we're a technology business, or we think of ourselves as such, and because new products are a fundamentally important part of our growth strategy. Coming into the year, we've been working on some new products and trying to build our marketing program and really understand the space in which we're trying to move and the space that we're trying to exploit with our solution. In the midst of all that, as you noted, we had some other more dynamic and more immediate concerns as a business, which was really responding to not only our customers' upcoming needs as the market was impacted by this pandemic, but also, and more importantly, really the security and safety of our team here in the building. So it's been a really exciting year from that perspective because we've been trying to evolve as a business, meet the safety standards that we have for ourselves in terms of taking care of our employees, but also making sure that we're able to be really responsive, and we've needed to be pretty flexible and very dynamic in terms of helping our customers. We're in an essential business and we're deemed an essential business, and the work that they do obviously is very important in terms of taking care of hospitals or school settings, nursing care facilities or extended living care facilities. All of those are fundamentally important areas for people, and we've been concerned about their safety. Supporting our customers and allowing them to be successful there was really mission critical for us this year.
Well, and I can say from experience, because when the pandemic hit, it didn't feel like we missed a beat. It felt like we seamlessly rolled right into taking care of the customers, doing what we needed to do, and coming out of it on the other end, from my perspective, successful. Would you agree?
I think it's more important what you and the rest of the team think. So I'm happy to hear that you and I hope other people feel that we've done the best we can given the circumstances. I can't say enough about the team that we have. We put a team together here that has been just brilliant in terms of their ability to anticipate changes, to be flexible, to be able to integrate a changing regulatory environment and recommendations from the CDC, which we followed closely for our guidelines going forward. So I've been so proud to be a part of it, but also just so impressed by the great thinking that's been done by that group.
If you could speak to you overarchingly talked about a team that you created to combat the COVID crisis. Can you talk a little bit more about what we did as a company and what happened in the fantastic world of disinfectants? What happened?
Sure. I'll break that into a couple pieces. I'll just kind of briefly tell you the story of how kind of this all evolved here, especially early on when it was really at its most challenging. So back in January or February, our chairman and the owner of the business, who is a medical doctor and a rather accomplished researcher in his own right, was traveling for a couple of months. And in January, he and I were talking, and all of this had been brewing in China. And so as it was spreading and the lockdowns became more stringent and more severe there, he and I were having conversations, and he was really focused on it and really understood early that this was going to be, as he said to me, a thing in early January. And so his guidance to me was, I think we should be thinking about what we need to do to prepare for this if it comes to the United States and if we can't contain it, which to me at this point seems likely, he said. So we were very lucky in that respect because we were, I would say, probably out in front of this more than many of our friends in the small business world in terms of knowing that we needed to start preparing for something that was going to could impact us more broadly and societally. So we were kind of out in front of it in that regard. So as we do with just about everything here, is we got a team of people together and we started thinking through the issues. What do we need to be thinking about in terms of guidance? Where do we get the best information? How do we deploy that information? Getting people away from each other, so that social distance element where people weren't working closely together was important. Sanitizing and keeping clean workspaces was very important. Making sure people had ready access to protective gear or gloves or hand sanitizer. So we really set about trying to structure our workspaces and prepare our workforce to work remotely where possible and at a distance if they were here in the building. We hoped and expected that we were going to be deemed an essential business and be allowed to stay open. That was a major concern for a couple of weeks. We were very fortunate that we were able to do that. But then past that, this has been really evolutionary. There wasn't a kind of one and done. We still meet twice a week. We talk about any issues that we have with people who are ill, what their status is, what we can do to help them from here if should they need additional assistance. And then our big goal here was we really understood and believed, and we thought it highly likely that we were going to have employees get sick. Our goal was to have them, if they were going to become ill, it would be because it would have happened to them not at work. And if they ended up coming to work and were unknowingly ill at the time, we could prevent any further spread within the building. And I'm delighted to say that while we have had employees who have come down with corona, everyone has recovered successfully thus far, knock wood. But past that, we've had no spread or transmission from people who were infectious at work and gave it to another employee. So we've been I think lucky, but also I think the team has been very good in terms of anticipating what we needed to do to be successful there. So that, just from a tactical perspective, has been a really valuable process, and I think the team's done a great job. From a product perspective, as you noted, and you know darn well because you're part of this team, disinfectants were quickly, as were hand sanitizers, although we don't do those. That's not in our portfolio set. Disinfectants were quickly becoming very important, and all of our customers, including our largest, were calling and asking us and looking for every drop that they could secure going into the spring and into the summer, knowing that any of these businesses or schools or other places where people were gathering professionally or socially were going to need to be cleaned and disinfected. We have a fantastic procurement team here who was able to go out and buy outsized amounts, way more than we probably deserve to be allocated from our suppliers because they were way out in front of it. And they have great relationships, and we have some terrific partners on in our supply chain who really delivered for us and allowed us to be able to have as much disinfectant as any of our customers needed. So we've never had allocations. We've never had to tell customers, no, we don't have that product for you. We still have good inventory here, and we're trying to make sure that we have enough ready to go. So if a customer calls us and they have a rapid need, that we can deliver that quickly. But as you mentioned, we've sold a lot more disinfectant this year than we have historically, and we're really pleased to have been able to do that.
Well, I can tell you from sitting in the chair where I was listening to the customers when they called, it was really refreshing to be able to say, yeah, we can do that. Yes, we can. We'll do what we can, and we're going to make sure we get it to you as quick as possible. That was a really a gift, is what I felt.
I'm with you. I love it. There's nothing better than being able to say yes when a customer is worried that you're going to have to say no, and when you can deliver and they're not expecting you to. That's like as good as it gets.
Yeah, their expectations were not that it was going to be a positive outcome when they called, and so it was really refreshing to be able to do that. Fred, this has just been really insightful. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that you've covered everything that you wanted to cover. Just want to know if there's anything else you'd like to touch on.
No, other than just to say how grateful I am and how proud I am to be a part of this team. We have some absolutely remarkable people and teams built here that really have allowed us to be successful this year, kind of despite some of the more interesting wrinkles that we've been given. So I'd like to thank everybody here who's been just so stalwart and so strong through all of this, and really have gone out of their way to be good teammates and to really help us to serve our customers and help us to keep people safe, which is really our goal here.
Wonderful. So again, Fred, thank you for joining us in the Essential Space. And if anyone has any questions directly for Fred, you can put those right in our LinkedIn comments, and we will make sure we get the answers to you. We can get Fred to come back and answer the questions live, or we can get him to answer you on LinkedIn. So reach out and let us know. And it's been a pleasure to have you in the Essential Space, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Likewise, thanks very much.